created a situation where they purposely led me to understand that they did it. And this was in the summertime before it happened, I gave up my TV and I phoned them up and said I don't want to watch TV anymore because I'm on the web all the time, so I need to watch TV. So they said, fine. And then the morning of 9/11, and I was in Seattle, my boss phones me early, tells me don't come to work, and gives me the bare essential reasons. And then he finishes with, watch your TV. And I go, okay. So I turn the TV on, thinking, well, maybe, they haven't shut me off yet. And sure enough, I see part of the 9/11 event live. Actually, a distressing part of it, because one tower had gone down, and the audio feed was saying it's live. And I think, well, where's the other tower? I was in a panic. Of course, it had gone down by then, and I didn't know that. But, and then another month, I get this bill from, a cable company saying you owe us so much for your television. I phone them up again saying, no, I canceled this June, July, whatever it was. And they said, okay, thanks. And, I'm saying, well, why did that happen? Why did my telephone bill, or my cable bill, extend when all they had to do was just, then I was mind controlled, and they, got me stirred up enough to go and cancel my cable TV subscription, and yet failed to do it, allowed me to see this event on television, and then, of course, reminded me with a bill that it actually hadn't been turned off. Now, you could argue, well, maybe that was just sloppy practices, and it happened then, and billing practices, and I can't go and say, okay, it could be another coincidence, but, when every crumb, every little thing is governed around me, which it is, as to shape, color, material, what it sits on or above, clearly would be within the perp's realm to manage my subscription of my television cancellation, or mismanage it.
Well, I know my perps do not like me to watch TV either, and they do talk about 911 all the time, and it greatly concerns me because, I have a problem with airline pilots out of O'Hare Midway Airport, and I've written to the CEO of this #1 airline, and I get very little response. And I just think about it all the time about the Al-Qaeda and what happened that day, but I know that someone had to be working on the inside, because who taped the box cutters to the seats on some of those flights? The Al-Qaeda, I don't think, walked in several days before. I just think that there's more behind what happened on 9/11. I think that these perpetrators do know about it. I think they're happy it happened. They're dissenters of our country and our way. They don't care about people. And, I've even been told I should have been on a flight on 9/11. I was supposed to die at ground zero. And that's very frightening for people that are walking around dressing in flying airplanes. So I'm staying on top of it, and I'm not letting it go, because I'm not going to see another 9/11 in this country at the hands of people who, for whatever reason, didn't either fit in this country. I know that they're very against patriotism here. And my father was a World War II vet, and my brother was in Vietnam. And I've been told that my brother should have died in Vietnam, and my father was useless, and they've stolen my American flag 3 times, and I don't appreciate it. So I've talked to other victims as well who have said that when 9/11 happened, their perpetrators were really excited and really harassing them. It's like they really liked it. So there's, I think, a lot that goes on. I think it's a network of criminals, and I think we're dealing with inside jobs on some of these terroristic acts.
Yeah, at 2003, 2004, I would see more linkages and more conspiracy. What the heck's going on? And it got bigger and bigger. And then they were planting the notion that 9/11 was an inside job. I said, no, No, I had just had it with all this extenuating conspiracy, and yet on all these design coincidences. And so here was a huge one that I didn't want to accept. And then slowly but surely, there was various websites and things that I was directed to, controlled to see, and of course, speakers and of course now books. And yes, it does seem very much like an inside job. These towers fell, 3 of them, the first ones ever by fire for a concrete and steel building. And they fell as fast as a free fall object would. There's just too many coincidences, even if you look at the 9/11.
Well, like I said, I've dealt with airline pilots in my stalking, and I know who they are, and I do believe that there was an inside job after having dealt with these people the way I have and have seen what they've done. I know there was inside help. And it's very frustrating. Yeah. It's very frustrating to me that these people are being allowed. Well, they're allowed to walk around our airport. Obviously, it's not safe still, and that's frightening to me.
Well,
I know what they've done to me, and I know what happened on 9/11. I sure don't want to see it happen again.
Well, I just don't know what their designs are. You hear talk about sort of some cataclysmic events being arranged and coordinated. But, they have, I believe, enough political power and control enough people that if their birth control is a problem worldwide, they could cause leaders to then, implement those kinds of programs in their respective countries. And then, similarly with climate change, that, we seem to be in a huge warming trend, which is very worrisome for the whole world. I believe that perps and all their power can actually cool it down if they wanted to.
Or heat it up?
It just seems that the whole world is sort of in this, I don't know, pot, and we've been heated up more and more because there's more and more information the perps can get from us. And it's not just mind control, but there's more to it, I believe. I don't know for sure what it is. But there's various themes that they like to, expose me to. I don't know if you have time to go into them, but they're on. I have links on my website to Pondering the Perps Objectives 1 and 2. And that's where some of these events are described.
Well, what I'd like to do is, because we're out of time, is I'd like to follow up with you again and have a second interview where we can go into that a little more in depth, if that's all right with you.
Sure, that'd be great.
And before we close, I'm wondering, do you have anything you'd like to add for the listeners that you want them to know about this organized stalking and what's happening?
Well, I would say do research, look at other websites, and there's 3 books which I think cover it. And the first one was about an event in almost 200 years ago. It's called the Heirloom Gang. AIR, and the word loom, LOOM, gang, by Mike J. And you can read part of it at www, letter N, TH, position.com. The author has allowed an excerpt to be on this website. Another book is Suburban Spies by Anthony Brina, B-R-I-N-A. It's actually one long string, anthonybrina.blogspot.com. And the other is titled 1996 in numbers by Gloria Naylor, and I've heard her speak on a conference call. She's a very credible person, and that book, although it's fiction, written or sold as fiction, is about 95% actuality. That could happen to me as well, or worse. Actually, I think she doesn't get